would fit?
Oh, God, about 20, 25 kids.
Oh, it was a good party.
Yeah, yeah. So
party.
we used to go to the beaches with the negretas in the army truck.
Well, back then, we didn't have the freeways.
Oh, no. And then they didn't have to be on a seat belt or things like that.
You didn't have seat belts tampoco,
no.
¿verdad?
Yeah.
And you didn't have to be covered or anything like that.
No.
Yeah.
So we used to go.
So you leave Colton, La Cadena, and then Riverside, go through all the signals in Riverside,
Yeah.
Magnolia,
Oh, yeah.
and then hit Corona.
Corona Del Mar. I remember all the beaches that we went to when we were young. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then there was an incident that happened when I used to get really sunburned and get blotches in my face. So they buried me in the sand, and I just had a hat and was buried in the sand. And the boys were playing volleyball, and they kept stumbling over me. And then Albert Negrete said, "What is this Pulga doing here?" So that's how come they named me Pulga.
Oh, your nickname was Pulga?
Yeah.
Flea.
Yeah, the flea. Yeah, that's what they called me because he said I looked like a sand flea laying there in the sand.
Well, tell me, who of the people that went to the beach with you, can you name some of the people?
Oh, Vera Rosas, Alice Melchor, Esther Beltran, Stella Beltran, Carmen Negrete, La Negretes, and Alice Benrostro. Mostly all the young people that hung around together went to the beaches.
Yeah, all together.
Yeah, all together. We used to
Yeah.
have a lot of fun at the beach.
Yeah, so that was when you were an 8th grader?
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That must have been what, the
1948.
48?
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask you, también, you said you were, the tortilla store was on 7th Street.
Mm-hmm.
And back then, Esther, there was a lot of activity.
Oh,
on
7th Street was jumping. It had 3 bars, the Sombrero, it had 3 liquor stores, little restaurants, and the Panaderia Martinez and my grandmother's store, and the Morales store across the street is still there. And a lot of places, but I remember living
Did they have the pool hall?
Yeah, they had the pool hall over there near the Bolero, or what is it, across the street or something.
Bolero, on
yeah.
7th and N Street?
Yeah, and I remember a lot of things that happened there, a lot of killings, right next door to us was a Sarape.
But they had the dances a year.
Oh, yeah.
So every weekend was Friday, Saturday,
Jumping.
jumping.
And then everybody fighting. I remember I saw 2 people die on 7th Street, and it was awful. And because my mother made me go look for my dad, because my dad was always in the bars.
Uh-huh.
And I hated going there, but that's why I saw this man got killed there.
Uh-huh.
So he was laying there when I got there, and it was awful.
Well, the Tortilla was there, and the next to the Tortilla was Martinez Market,
Yeah.
Martinez Bakery.
Mm-hmm.
Then you cross the street, there was Tucker's.
Tucker's, yeah.
And then next to Tucker's was
Calderas.
Calderas.
And then there was a little restaurant before the hair cutting shop there.
Cruz,
Cruz,
the barber shop.
Yeah, the barber shop, and a little restaurant there before the other bar, and then too
The
many
Bolero
stores.
was there, in the corner.
Yeah.
And then do you remember the Tivoli?
No, I don't remember that one, but I know that there was a lot of different ones where my father used to go in, so that's where I had to go.
What was the name of that, Henry? Tivoli or?
There was a Tivoli and there was a Teatro Hidalgo that we
You-
were trying to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they said that the Teatro Hidalgo was on the corner of 7th and N Street.
N Street.
In that area, ¿no te acuerdas?
Yeah, well, there was a lot of stuff in N Street too, and O Street at that time. So I remember some of them, but most of them that I didn't go into, I don't remember.
And then you had the Navarro store
The Navarros, yeah.
on the corner of
Yeah.
O and 7th.
Mm-hmm.
And then you go down 7th,
Mm-hmm.
and you have the hardware,
Yeah.
Murataya's
Morataya's Hardware, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And then the Perez gasoline station.
Chayo Perez
Mhm.
gasoline station.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. So anyway, 7th Street was quite a place.
Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night it was jumping.
Yeah.
A lot of things happening around that area.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And so you were in the middle of all this then?
Oh, yeah, yeah. But we were busy cutting up the things for the next day, for the tamales and the menudo, so we used to hear everything that happened in the bar, so spilled out over in the street.
And then across the store, the Olivas.
Oh, the Olivas lived
Yeah,
there,
tell me about the Olivas. You had, ¿cómo se llama? Angie? Enchi Oliva was the oldest, I think.
Angel,
Uh-huh.
Angel, and yeah, I remember Manuel and Angel and Rudy, and I don't remember the oldest one, Agustin. I remember some of them but they always lived across the street. I didn't know them personally, but just by talking to them, when I saw them on the street. Yeah. And Stella, their sister Stella.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you said you were your grandma made you go to church.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you were related to Father Luque, Father Pete Luque Jr.,
Mm-hmm.
and Father Luque was quite a kid, right?
Oh yeah.
He was quite a kid.
Everybody said, how can he become a priest if he's a dancer? Well, what does dancing have to do with becoming a priest? If you
Yeah.
like dancing, because he was a character. He used to put on shows for us when we were little, and he used to, dance and sing and all the time and tell us stories when we were little. And he used to put on shows. Like I said, he loved doing that when he was young. And then he was an altar boy, and of course he liked that, and I guess he got the calling to become a priest. So.
But at high school, he was one of the cheerleaders.
Oh, the cheerleaders in high school.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he loved doing all those things. He was like, I said, you should have gone into show business.
And then he went to Valley College.
Yeah, he went to Valley College and then he went to the seminary
Now, where was the seminary?
in San Diego.
Oh, he went to San Diego for the seminary.
San Diego, yeah.
And he was ordained.
Yeah.
Do you remember what year he was ordained? Was in the 60s?
62, I think. I'm not sure if it's
Uh-huh.
62. Uh-huh.
And then we were lucky to have him come back to Colton.
Yeah, in 69 he came
In
back
69
to
to
Colton.
Colton to be the priest there at San Salvador.
And he was there for about almost 10 years.
Yeah. And then he saw the need to build a new church,
Yeah.
¿verdad?
Yeah, because when Father Valencia died, there had been a lot of money that Father Valencia was sending to the bishop to keep for the San Salvador church.
That's in San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego. But Monsignor went to, before he was just Father Luque, he went to the bishop in San Diego, made appointments to talk to him about the possibility of building a new church, because there was a need for a new church. And he went for months and months. Every day that he made an appointment, he was sitting there, and the bishop never saw him. They told him, oh, he's busy. For months and months, he went through the same thing. So he decided that he was going to take, matters into his own hands and build a church without the bishop's permission, and he did.
So he did not get permission
No.
from the
From the
Diocese of San Diego?
No.
But we were part of that before.
Yeah.
But he tried.
Yeah, he tried months and months, probably even a year, to get an audience with the bishop.
Uh-huh.
Because he had to find that money that was missing, and he found the money that the Father Valencia had sent, that the people had donated for years and years. And he got all the people together, and all the people, the parishioners and other people came to do all the work. They did all the labor, all the work.
But when did he decide? He got tired of...
In 1972, I think he decided that we should build a new church. So he started doing all those things in 1972.
In 1972, and he rallied the South Colton
Oh
community.
yeah, the community got together, and people that knew how to do electricity and plumbing and things like that, they got together and they built the church.
I know my dad did a lot of cement.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of cement work
Yeah.
for the church.
Yeah, a lot of people donated their time, and the women of the church also made food for the workers, and they got together. We made barbecues, fiestas, cake sales, everything to raise money for the church.
Uh-huh. And where did he have services while this was going on?
He went, I think, to Wilson School, McKinley School, different schools he had held at masses on Sunday.
And there's a lot of according to that booklet that you have there. Let me see that booklet on the church. That one. That one. That's one that you have in your hand in front of you. Is that the one that you saw from you?
Yeah, this is the booklet that when they did the dedication of the church, March 14, 1976.
March 14, 1976? Yeah, there's a list of all the donors there.
Oh yeah, there's the donors, people that donated their time, and the merchants that donated things. There's all the
Yeah,
people.
when I looked at that list,
Yeah.
Esther, I counted almost over 400 people.
And there was a lot of them that weren't there, that donated anonymously and things like that, but they had a lot of people donations and workers.
Yeah, and also in building the church, Who was the architect? Do you know?
The name is here, all the information is here about the architecture and who was instrumental in, it has about the church, the first church, churches that were built. This is the architectural person that did it.
From Long Beach, eh?
Yeah.
Bernard Conkley from Long Beach.
And then people donated money to build the windows, the windows. Every family donated a certain amount to put a window for their family.
And what was the theme of the windows? Do you know?
It had some kind of a, what do you call it?
Well, yeah, according to that booklet,
A stained glass windows. They
Yes.
had, yeah.
that the
They
theme,
put 14 of them.
14 of them, that the themes were our culture.
Yeah.
You know, our Indian culture.
Oh yeah, the Aztec and the Virgen de Guadalupe, all that thing. He had the altar with the Aztec culture, then, but they removed it. They didn't want it, so they removed it from the church. So.
So it took him a good 4 years to build
Yeah.
the church then. And he did it without the permission of the
Without the
bishop.
permission of the bishop, but then the bishop wrote him and told him that, well, he was glad he had built a church after all.
¿No lo regañaron?
No.
They didn't scold him?
They got mad at first, but then they realized that the people were together and they were building it, so what could they do?
But did he ever get his money back from the
Well, they
diocese?
found some of the money for the supplies and stuff, but I don't know how much money, he got or what was missing or how much it cost at the end. I don't know.
Esther, the other thing is, brand new church, beautiful church. When did they start playing mariachi music at the church? Do you remember? And was Father Luque aware, or did he give permission to have mariachis at the church?
Well, I think he got it when they had the dedication. That's when it happened, and he also had dancers, Aztec dancers and stuff. And I think you have to get permission, but I'm not sure if he got the permission to do it. But he wanted to put some of our culture into the mass.
So he got mariachis to play at the services.
Well, not all the services, just certain special occasions.
And also, there was a period when I was a little boy, I went to church and I couldn't understand them, Esther. I don't know what they were talking about. It was Latin.
Oh yeah, Latin. No, Latin. Well, we just went to church and that was what was it. But then when they decided to say it, not omit the Latin, a lot of people were upset. But now you understand what's happening with all the things that are happening in the altar and things. You understand. So I'm glad they went into Spanish and English.
Okay. So, do you remember when that took place?
No, I don't remember exactly, but it was quite a number of years back.
And even now, Esther, who are the people that go to church now? They're in San Salvador.
There's not very many of the old people, just certain ones. And there's a lot of new people I don't know. A lot of people from Mexico and South America that I don't know. But they go there and they have services. I think the people go more to the Spanish ones because they have a need. They have two or three masses in Spanish and only one in English.
So it's changed quite a bit
Oh, yeah.
over the last several years.
Yeah.
And the English Mass is what time?
I go at 10
At 10
because
o'clock?
that's when the English Mass.
Yeah.
And
And
the other one is at 8 and 12 for the
those are Spanish. the
Spanish, and they
services.
also have, hold one on Saturdays at 6 because
Uh-huh.
they need 3 masses in Spanish.
Okay. So they have them Saturdays also.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so.
Boy, it's really changed, hasn't
Oh
it?
yeah, it's changed a lot, and we have the priests that are there. They came from Guatemala, and they look so young. Little priests. They look like they're little teenage kids, and they're pretty good. In Spanish is how they give a homily with Spanish and with all their heart, and because that's their main language, and they're trying to learn English. So the English they have a hard time in English.
So there's very few people that help build the church that are attending the church
Yeah,
now.
no, there's most of them are passed away, and a lot of them I don't know if they're able to come because a lot of them are sick. So.
Now, do they still have Jamaicas and?
Well, they have church fiesta. They just had one in September. They have a church fiesta, but it's not like the old fiestas it used to be. So it's to raise money, and I don't know where that money goes for or whatever. I don't know.
But they still have some fundraisers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, once a year.
Talking about fundraisers, tell me about Las Fiestas Patrias.
Oh, Las Fiestas Patrias, I remember my Uncle Pete and Padilla and all those people involved in, I don't know, the queen, and they had to sell these many tickets and to become a queen. And
So the person sold the most tickets was
yeah,
the queen?
was a queen, yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And each of the girls was sponsored by a different civic group.
Yeah, yeah. And they sold tickets and they got, whoever had the most. Mm-hmm. And then Tula Padilla used to have the kids, say little verses in Spanish about the colors of the flag and the Mexican flag and stuff. She had a little group, and she taught all the kids to say things at the 16th of September.
So she remember where they had the fiestas?
They used to have them over there at the patio on O Street, and as you go to Wilson School, that little area right there.
Patio Supremo.
Yeah, and then they held them over there where the new market is, the Sombrero Market on N Street.
Mm-hmm. Did they use both locations, or did they use?
Well, if wherever they did it, and then they also did it on where the parking lot for the Sombrero is. They used to hold the fiestas there, wherever they could have a space to do the fiestas. And one thing remember about Father Valencia, he was a character. When he did Judas for the Easter, he sent away, they made a big giant man with cohetes all inside, and he used to dance him around and dancing and hanging him by a rope, and then he used to light it up, and we had a thing, quemar a Judas.
Every Easter.
Every Easter.
Burning of Judas.
Yeah, yeah.
Burning of Judas.
Yeah, I remember those things. And he had, when it was during Lent, he used to wash the feet of all the 12 apostles, and he used to do all the rituals like that, like old time. And I remember all of that, the siete palabras and all that he put on the show. With,
I don't know what siete palabras are. What are siete palabras?
When Jesus was dying on the cross, what he said before he died and things like that. And he used to present this little thing, like a little show with what was happening between, and how they used to. Now they have it sometimes. They have like people coming and they take the cross, and the man is, he goes all around for the Stations of the Cross. Stop at every house and do the Stations of the Cross.
So he would do that.
Yeah.
So he would do that.
Yeah, and some of the people still do it nowadays. I went this last one. They just had it in the altar. They just put a sheet, and they did the thing in the back, like the shadows. You could see the shadows of what they were doing out there when they were crucifying Jesus.
So it was quite a production.
So we
Well,
really enjoyed.
Father Valencia had a little varilla.
Oh yeah.
A little branch.
Oh yeah, the little.
The little branch, and we would taunt him by trying to get close to Judas, and he would
chase us with a little. Yeah, I remember that. There was also an incident I remember, because we used to go to the Guadalupana to go for catechism, and then it was getting too small to have it, so we used to have all the classes in the barn. There was a barn next to the San Salvador Church, and we used to sit there in benches and do our whatever we had to do for learning, for First Communion, confirmation. And I remember it was during the confirmation, I think it was in the 46, 47, I'm not sure, that I made my confirmation. And he had everybody, and he asked the question for everybody: how do you get to heaven? And then he asked one person, how do you get to heaven? She said, by keeping the commandments. Wrong. Inkate 4F. So he had us all lining up, everybody, because I don't know what the answer he wanted. And then he asked me, he said, how do you get to heaven? I said, by loving God, loving each other,